Hello, everybody. My name is Cameron Earl, and welcome to the Marvel Villainous ranking. Marvel Villainous is the forgotten Villainous. I know Ravensburger's come out and said, that all three lines are going strong. But we have not had a Marvel Villainous set in, I think, about 2 years. Maybe even 3. I forget. The last Marvel Villainous set we had was back in 2022, I think, or 2023, with Twisted Ambitions, which had Doc Ock, Titania, and Kang the Conqueror. And then there's also just these 3 sets, Infinite Power, Mischief and Malice, and We Are Venom. So the Marvel Villainous line has not been updated. We're still at 12 characters now. In just a couple weeks, we'll have as many Star Wars Villainous characters as we do Marvel Villainous characters. I think. We have 3 Star Wars sets. We're gonna have 4 full Star Wars sets, and then we just have 3 full Marvel sets and 1 single character expansion. That's why. But yeah. So let's get started. Marvel Villainous has. I remember loving Marvel Villainous when it came out, and I still like it. I don't play it as much because I think the characters are a little complicated. It's the hardest one to teach people. And it's just such a shame that Ravensburger hasn't updated them, given us some new Marvel Villainous characters in so long. They keep expanding the Star Wars at Disney. Luckily, the Disney sets that we have coming out this year, and the Star Wars set too, both seem extremely fun. But I remember when the first Marvel Villainous set came out, Infinite Power, and I was like, hey, that's super cool. When does it come out? And then I remember feeling a sense of dread, because this was coming out the day I was supposed to leave for vacation, and I pre-ordered it on Target already. I wasn't going to be here to be able to get it, so I was super upset. I was going to be gone for a whole week. I was like, it's just going to be sitting there a whole week waiting for me. And I was younger and got super excited over everything and stuff. And sometimes I still get like that, but I was like devastated that I wouldn't be there. Turns out, the first time I pre-ordered anything from anywhere, the first time I ever pre-ordered anything was this Marvel Villainous set right here. And it happened to get delivered a day early. Everybody who pre-ordered it off Target had priority and got it a day early. And I brought it on vacation with me, and that's what me and my brother did in the hotel room every night, was we played one of the new 5 Marvel Villainous characters. And then I saw that Loki was on the back of the instruction booklets, and I was so happy because Loki's my favorite Marvel villain. And he came in with the set, and he came with 2 villains I didn't recognize, because I never read the comics or anything. But I knew MODOK from board games. I have Wakanda Forever, MODOK's in that. I'm like, who is this guy? I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which had MODOK in it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this guy's a little more popular than I thought. And Madame Mask, no clue who she is. Well, I know who she is now, but never even seen the character before. Then they came out with Venom, which was really cool. The downside was that he was a single character expansion, which a lot of people don't like, but I still think he has probably the coolest box art till this day. And then the third full set came out, Twisted Ambitions, obviously Doc Ock. We were finally getting some Spider-Man in there. I like Doc Ock. I'm not the biggest fan of Spider-Man, but I do really like Doc Ock, and I was happy they were putting him in a set. Didn't know who Titania was. I did know who Kang was, and I was excited they were putting Kang in there. But enough rambling. Let's get started. So, in last place, my least favorite Marvel Villainous villain to play is Killmonger. Poor guy. I used to have a lot of fun with him when I first got the set, but over time, it has developed into me just feeling like he's not as fun as all the other villains. So what is Killmonger's goal? Killmonger has to take control of the mines and relocate 2 explosives to any domain other than his. So basically how he's going to do that is the first thing he has to do is he has to defeat Claw. And when he defeats Claw, who is a special rival card, or he's actually a cardboard token, who starts the game at the Golden City. You could play certain cards to like move him and stuff, but pretty much he's just going to stay here the whole time. You'll get rid of him within a turn or two. He's very easy to get rid of, even if he does have 5 strength. Killmonger does have a lot of resources. Easy ways to get rid of Claw. We got Explosives, which is a card you need to win. You can even use Overpower at some point. Killmonger's Fury. And of course, to use any of these, you would have to play Wound, which would knock Claw's strength down by 2. And like, if you wanted to relocate him somewhere with allies, relocate any killer, you could play Taunt. Yeah, and then of course, you've got a whole bunch of allies here. Dogs of War. I skipped over her, I think. Yeah, there's Knight. She has 5 strength. She's like meant to kill Claw. And yeah, you got Dogs of War. You got, who's this guy? Rook. I never use Rook. King. When King is played, you may relocate an unattached item you control to in your domain his location. But yeah, really easy. Like, if you start with a wound card in your hand, you're probably going to get rid of Claw really quickly. Killmonger definitely gets one of the quickest starts. Once you defeat Claw, then you're going to take his cardboard token, and I'm going to move this down just a little bit. You're going to take his cardboard token, you're going to flip it over to the Challenge for the Throne side. Then you can activate it by paying 2 power. You have to find Black Panther and play him to Warrior Falls. So, we find Black Panther, and here's the thing about Black Panther. His ability is he simply gets +2 strength when he's on Killmonger's board. And you're going to play into Warrior Falls, so he's covering up a move item, an ally, and a fate. So obviously he's going to get that +2 strength. Then you have to defeat him. And when off to the side you have this the Mines Are Lost tile. When you defeat Black Panther, you're going to flip this over to control the mines. So we defeat Black Panther, which you can do literally the same exact way as defeating Claw. So we've got control the mines now. Now what we can do is we can activate this for 2 power to relocate any explosives to another player's domain. Now, if Black Panther were to be played on you again, say, like he could be played right here, with one of Hela's specialties going to bring him back. Also, Wakanda Forever is probably the main way Black Panther is going to come back, which is simply find Black Panther and either play or relocate him to Killmonger's domain. If Black Panther is already in play, place a +1 strength token on him. Other cards that can hurt him. I don't think Shuri really hurts him. Stolen Antiques. He cannot play items. Items are obviously really good. Oh, well, Shuri can remove an explosives. Dora Milaje have Protector. They can protect Black Panther for a little bit longer. Hot Touch Resi do nothing. Everett K. Ross, you can remove an item from Killmonger's domain, obviously. And Okoye finds and plays a Dora Milaje to her location. So there's a lot of ways in Killmonger's deck to actually protect Black Panther, but obviously being that all the Marvel Villainous cards are shuffled together, like the Fate cards are shuffled together into one thick deck, it might be kind of hard to find these cards. But there are definitely ways you could bring Black Panther back. You might just not always be lucky enough. But once Killmonger simply places down 2 explosive cards and activates Control the Mines twice to move the explosives, then, yeah. If Black Panther's ever played on you again after you collect this tile, you flip it back over to the Mines Are Lost, and when you defeat, remove, or relocate Black Panther while he is in your domain, you flip this tile back over, and you are free to start relocating explosives again. So that's how you play Killmonger. Now, what is... let's go over some of his specialties. We got the Heart-Shaped Herb, gains play card action. Heart-Shaped Herb cannot be played if Claw is in your domain. Let's see here. What are his other specialties? Killmonger's Fury is not a specialty, but it is a good way of killing heroes. You simply just defeat a character with a strength of 4 or less in your domain. He's got a bunch of these cards, and they all cost 2. Stolen Wisdom is your best way to get explosives. If you have 3 or fewer cards in your hand at the end of your turn, instead of drawing cards, you may reveal cards from your deck until you reveal 2 items. Add those items to your hand. Armored Rhino. Heroes at Killmonger's location lose 1 strength. That's a specialty. Wakabi. Your power cost is to use an activate ability action is reduced by 1. He cannot be played of claws in your domain. Rage of Killaluna. Before moving your villain, you may discard a card from your hand to find Killmonger's Fury and add it to your hand. And does he have any more? No, those are all of his specialties. I mean, these count as specialties, but we already went over these. So yeah, what do I find? Why is Killmonger all the way down here? Simply put, I just don't find him as fun. I think he could get such a quick start, and he kind of just blows through everything. And it's just like, you start the game off the same way every time. You have a set goal in mind. Kill Claw. So you get rid of Claw. Now what do? You find Black, you go here. On your second turn, activate this, find Black Panther, kill Black Panther, and then for the rest of the game, you're just like finding these explosives, going back and forth, gaining power, discarding cards, trying to find these explosives, and activate them. He can win relatively fast, but I think he is just pretty boring, honestly. I like villains who can progress in many different ways. Like some of the villains we'll talk about later, and they can always be doing something different to progress himself along in different ways. Killmonger has a set path, and that set path makes every game with him feel the exact same, and I think that's what's boring about Killmonger. Didn't want to put him this low, but it's just how I feel. Killmonger is in last place. Alright. We are now jumping from the core box all the way to the newest set with my villain in 11th place, my second least favorite to play, and that is Titania. Which is a shame, because I actually did really like playing Titania when the Doc Ock set came out. But I think it was just recency bias. I don't really find her all that fun anymore. Alright, so what is Titania's deal? So she has to become empowered and defeat She-Hulk. And how she becomes empowered is she has this little cardboard tracker here, which is pretty much the exact same as Madame Mask's. And this is where the uniqueness of Titania comes in. She herself can vanquish characters. She doesn't have to use allies to vanquish heroes. She only has to use allies to vanquish heroes that are stronger than her. So for each hero she defeats, if they have equal or more strength than her, she will gain a strength. And she just has to keep gaining the strength until she gets 8. And when she gets 8 strength, she becomes empowered. And then she can, when empowered, she can activate this to find any She-Hulk and play her to Titania's location. Then you have to defeat She-Hulk. So how does Titania gain strength? Okay, so we're going to bring out a hero here. Not Volts Guardman. We'll bring out Thunderstrike. When Thunderstrike is defeated, remove all allies used to vanquish him, ignoring abilities that keep those allies in play. Titania does not get +1 strength when she is used to defeat Thunderstrike. Oh, okay. Well, that's a bad example for a hero. There's a Spider-Man in here. Okay. What about Hercules? Alright, so he is a 4 strength hero. So Titania has 4 strength. She can straight up just go here and vanquish him herself. There's no ally here. She doesn't need an ally. She has 4 strength by herself. She can use a vanquish action to vanquish him herself. He had equal strength to her, so her strength goes up to 5. Now let's say she sets her sights on the next hero on her board. Let's say that's Spider-Man, Avenger. While performing a vanquish action to defeat Spider-Man Avenger, only allies with a strength of 4 or greater may be used. So let's see. She has 5 strength, but he has 6. Only allies with a strength of 4 or greater may be used. So what about we bring out... Aha! What about if we bring out Wrecking Crew? They have a strength of 4, and their location gains vanquish. Yeah, so let's say Spider-Man's at Battle World. I play the Wrecking Crew. Good, now this location has another vanquish action. Go here. Now, I cannot take Spider-Man out myself, and they cannot take out Spider-Man themselves. So you can combine ally strengths with Titania to defeat a hero. She defeats this hero. Spider-Man is more strength than her, so she gains 1. If you ever defeat a hero with Titania that has less strength than her, you will not gain a strength. There's really no way for Titania to lose strength, except maybe one of her fate cards. Where is it? This one. When inhibitor shackles are played, attach an item or ally to an ally or Titania. Move all strength tokens from that character. They cannot be used in a vanquish action, and their ability is ignored. You may pay 2 power to remove inhibitor shackles. That doesn't make Titania lose all of her strength. That would be kind of busted because there's like 3 of them in here. Other heroes, Volt's Guardsman. When they're played, you can find an item in the Fate deck or Fate discard pile and play it to this domain. Good way to get the inhibitor shackles on Titania. Her event is Wedding Day. Titania cannot be used in vanquish actions, but if you use 6 strength and allies to get rid of this event, you actually get +2 strength. That event's really good. Here is Titania's version of She-Hulk. Now, you can defeat any She-Hulk character to win as long as you are empowered with 8 strength. You can use the She-Hulk from the core set. You can use MODOK's She-Hulk. Alright, so we have She-Hulk Sensational. Villain item abilities at this location are ignored. If Hulk Sensational is in Titania's domain, allies' abilities at this location are also ignored. So you're definitely... It's kind of tough getting to defeat She-Hulk because most of the time when you activate that to find She-Hulk, you're going to be here, and she's going to cover up, you know, these actions, and there's no Vanquish action here, so She-Hulk will be here, which means you can't use Wrecking Crew to give that location a Vanquish action. Doc Samson, what does he do? Doc Samson is in your domain. You cannot defeat any card with She-Hulk in its name. Doc Samson gets +2 strength within Titania's domain. And I think that's all our fate cards we need to go over. So yeah, just try to defeat She-Hulk. She has a whole bunch of cards in her deck that can help her. Obviously, Wrecking Crew gives you an extra Vanquish action if you want to spend the 3 power. Valuable loot is just like Hook's case. You spend 1, gain 1 from it. The location gains 1 extra power. You got a bunch of your allies. You got Hydra Man. Just the 2 of us perform a Vanquish action. Allies used in this activation are not discarded. Her only specialty is taking any old job. Choose another player. That player chooses any hero in their domain and loses 1 power. Titania removes that hero and gains 2 power. Gamma Boosted is a way to help heroes get up to your level so you can use them to win. You choose a hero in your domain with less strength than Titania. Place a +1 strength token on that hero until they have strength equal to Titania's. Villains in Love will help you find her ally Carl Greer, Absorbing Man. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? He is the very top card. Okay. Or Carl Creel, Absorbing Man. When Carl Creel is played or relocated, adjust his strength to equal or strongest character, including Titania. So if I were to move him here, and Spider-Man, you know, there was a hero here, he would gain, say it was Spider-Man, he would gain up to 5 strength to make his strength 6. But I was 5, he would not gain my strength, he would gain Spider-Man's strength. Other cards, just the 2 of us will help you get cards from your discard pile. I'm right here is your best way of finding heroes, but you do have to play them to a location other than Titania's. Display a power. If you're at a location with one of your allies who has equal or more strength than you, she gains +1 strength, which is pretty cool. That's another good way of getting strength. Getting paid. You can place up to 2 -1 strength tokens on a hero to get them down to your level. When that hero is defeated, the villain who defeated them gains power equal to that hero's current strength. That's a really good way to gain money. And then her best ally is definitely Volcana. When Volcana is used in a Vanquish action, it's discarded. Titania gets +1 strength. The Wizard's good. You can relocate a hero in any domain to any location in your domain, but it is a costly 2 power. And Titania might have a little bit of a power struggle. Trapster. Heroes cannot be relocated from Trapster's relocation, and yeah, that's pretty much it. She has a lot of cards that can help her out, but I think it's another thing with Killmonger where I kind of just find her boring. I kind of find myself struggling with money sometimes, and you know, just drawing the wrong heroes that I either can't defeat or it would be useless for me to defeat, and spending all that money to get all the cards back from my discard pile and stuff. I just don't find her as fun. Also, like, she never wins a game. I feel like she takes a really long time to win with. She's like deceptively difficult to win with. I think she's probably the most difficult one in the box to win with, the Doc Ock box. But, yep, she takes 11th place. And now, let's get to 10th place. Oh, it pains me to put this character so low because they are such a great villain in Marvel. Anything. Great character in the Marvel movies. Great villain. Great character. Super fun character to play in Marvel Rivals. And that is... Oh, God. That is Hela. Yep. Hela is all the way down here. Which sucks, because not only does she have one of the coolest villain movers, but she also just... The green color is really nice. And she's a cool villain. With a really cool objective. Oh, did I not get her soul marks out? Dang, I thought I got... I have, like, all the game... I have all these boxes almost empty. Like, completely empty, except for the villain guides and, like, the special fate decks. Oh, dang. I forgot to get her soul marks out. I just need one. I just need one soul mark. Oh, jeez. I just need one soul mark, man. I'll take these. Take it home. Alright. Put these all back in the box. Alright. So, Hela has a whole bunch of these soul mark tokens. Her goal is she has to have any combination of allies and soul marks and no opposing characters at Odin's Vault. So, basically what that's saying is you can have 5 allies here and 3 soul marks here, and that would add up to 8, so you would win. You need at least 1 soul mark in Odin's Vault to win. You can have 1 soul mark and 7 allies, and you can win. You can have half and half. You can have 4 soul marks and 4 allies here to win. The more soul marks you have, the less difficult it's going to be for you to win, because you'll have to play less allies. It doesn't cost that much to put soul marks on heroes, but it does... some of your allies can get pretty pricey if Odin's Vault is covered, which Odin's Vault will definitely have a hero or 2 on it throughout the game, for sure. It might even have a lot of heroes. That is the best way to stop Hela, is to just play as many heroes to Odin's Vault as possible, because if she has any heroes at Odin's Vault, she can't win. And pretty much all of her heroes can't have soul marks attached to them, so I'm just going to get all of her heroes out now. She has 3 of these Valkyrior cards, which their ability is simply soul marks cannot be attached to them. And then she has Angela and Balder. Soul marks cannot be attached to Balder. When played, remove a soul mark from any one hero. And Angela, soul marks may not be attached to Angela. When played, remove a soul mark from Odin's Vault. So she's really bad for Hela. So those are actually the only heroes in Hela's Fate deck. They cannot have soul marks placed on them. Revive souls, choose a hero in the Fate discard pile, play that hero to the targeted player's domain. Her event is Conquer Valhalla. Hela may not play, find, or access any cards in her discard pile. Her reward is she may immediately attach a soul mark on all heroes in all domains who don't already have one, which could be really good. It's really good to play Hela against characters who need to defeat heroes such as Mana Mask and Doc Ock. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanos is really bad for Hela, because not only does Thanos take out your allies, he will also count as an opposing character at Odin's Vault, whoever he decides to send over here. Odin Force, when Odin Force is played attached to a hero, if this hero has an unattached soul mark, remove it. This hero cannot have a soul mark attached and gains Protector, which means they have to be defeated first. And Fate intervenes, which shuffles that targeted villain's discard pile back into their deck. And one thing I think a lot of people forget about Hela is that she has a lot of control over her discard pile. She has a specialty which lets her play her Draugr Swordsman, which is her most reoccurring ally from her Fate discard pile for free. Or not for free. She has DCer, whose ability are simply they can be played from your discard pile. So along with, whatever cards you're putting in your discard pile over here, create a separate discard pile for your DCer and a separate discard pile for your Draugr Swordsman. Because if you have that specialty out, they can be played from your discard pile. Hela has a lot of specialties, and all of her specialties are pretty solid. So let me get all of her specialties out real quick. We're not going to go over them just yet. Wait, is that all of her specialties? Can't be. I feel like I'm missing one. Does she only have 3? I thought she had 4. No, I guess she only has 3. All right, let's get all of her allies out. Well, first, let's talk about soul marks. So soul marks are obviously these little green tokens, and Hela is going to put them on heroes. And whenever the hero with the soul mark gets defeated, she takes the soul mark off that hero and puts it right here in Odin's vault. And she has to keep track of how many of those she has. With Hela, you're probably going to be fading a lot because you want to get as many heroes out, because you could play Marked for Death, which is choose a hero in any domain without a soul mark, and it literally lets you attach a soul mark to that hero on any player's board. You can even bring them over to your board with a card like Death's Embrace. You locate a hero with an attached soul mark to Niflheim, which is her first location. There's also other things you could do with soul marks, like Price of Life. To choose a hero with an attached soul mark in another player's domain, remove the soul mark from that hero, gain power to that hero equal to that hero's strength. Or Soul for a Soul. Soul for a Soul is really good. Choose a hero with an attached soul mark in any domain and remove that hero. If you do, you may defeat a hero in Hela's domain. Really, really good card for Hela. That card is insane. Okay, now let's get let's go over her allies. So her allies, the 2 main ones are going to be the Draugr Swordsman and the DCer. Now, Draugr Swordsman can't initially be played from your discard pile, but if you have the Raise the Dead specialty, they can be. Draugr Swordsman may be played from your discard pile to your domain. Not only that, they actually gain 1 strength for each Draugr Swordsman in your discard pile. DCer can be played straight from your discard pile. You have a bunch of these allies. One of her one-off allies is Fenris Wolf, her giant wolf. So when Fenris Wolf is... if a hero is played to a location in your domain, you may play or relocate Fenris Wolf to that location for free. So definitely going to be using her to defeat heroes. Another good way to get soul marks on a hero is Night Sword, but only if they're on Hela's board. You can activate it to simply attach a soul mark to a hero at that location without one. Excuse me. I was trying to hold that one in so hard. Of course, if you don't have a Vanquish action, you can choose to play Hell to Pay. Choose a hero with an attached soul mark, perform a Vanquish action, defeat that hero. Leah. When Leah is played, you can attach a soul mark to a hero at her location. And then her final ally we got is the Midgard Serpent. When performing a Vanquish action, Midgard Serpent may be used to defeat each character with a strength of 5 or less. So he could just sweep this entire location. Midgard Serpent is definitely a game-winning card. Try to keep him in your hand, maybe keep him off your board. And finally, we're just going to go over some of her specialties here. We already went over Raise the Dead. Hela's Bidding. Each time another player defeats a hero with an attached soul mark, gain 3 power. This is probably the least useful specialty. The ability is really good, but she can use these other ones just better. Like I said, if you're playing Killmonger against Killmonger, he'll always never win against Hela because of obviously this specialty right here was the card I was talking about. You can choose a hero from the Fate discard pile, pay the power equal to their strength, and play them in any domain and attach a soul mark to them. That's essentially you getting a free soul mark out of Killmonger because he will be forced to defeat Black Panther if you play Black Panther on him, and that will give you a soul mark towards your goal. Is it expensive? Yes, but it's worth it because not only are you stopping him from winning and making him waste even more turns than he has to, but you're also ensuring that you get a soul mark out of it. So I think Hela suffers from the fact that she can't have any opposing characters at Odin's Vault to win. And the only thing anybody's going to be doing against you is placing every single hero they Yet, if they are fading you, they're going to be placing every single hero they draw on Odin's Vault. And not all of those heroes can be taken out by the Midgard Serpent. Not all of those heroes have less than 5 strength. So it's just really nerve-wracking. But yeah, that's why Hela's down here so far, the no opposing characters, because you're going to have a lot of opposing characters there. And if you're going up against Thanos, she's just going to keep killing your allies. Speaking of, unfortunately, so far down on the list, at the 9th spot, we have Thanos. Oh, God, Thanos. I'm so sorry I had to put the Mad Titan, the man with the plan himself, all the way down here. Such a shame. Here's the thing. I really like playing Thanos. Of course, I don't. The bottom 3 here were kind of just heroes, or were kind of just villains that I don't really care to play all that much. This is now where we're starting to get into the villains I like to play, because I like playing most of them. Marvel Villainous used to be my favorite of the 3, but I think it's Disney now, just because Disney has more variety. But everybody already knows what Thanos' goal was going to be, and that was collecting the 6 Infinity Stones, which are cardboard tiles here. They have the items, their item side, and then they have their specialty side. So Thanos has a bunch of steps. So Thanos has to play a card called Consult the Will. Where is it? Right here. You choose another player. That player receives a random unclaimed Infinity Stone. I always shuffle them up before I give them to somebody, and then I take a random one without looking, and I hand it to them. And basically, what you do with this, you give it to another character's ally. Say this is just another character's ally, and you attach the Infinity Stone to that ally. Then I could take one of Thanos' allies with the card, and I can move them over here. Now what I'm going to have to do with Thanos is I'm going to have to vanquish that ally and then relocate them back. Now any of my allies there claim the Infinity Stone, then I have to move them back. And when I move them back to my board, I flip the Infinity Stone over on its specialty side, the Gauntlet side, and place it on my specialty space. Now I have that ability for the rest of the game. So just like when he's collecting all the Infinity Stones, Thanos gets stronger and stronger the more the games go on. And he can start using all of these abilities. When another villain has the Infinity Stone attached to one of their allies, they can use that Infinity Stone's ability, which could definitely help them out. But Thanos just takes so long to win with. And it's like, he's not difficult to screw over, but he kind of is. Like, you can't really hurt him like you can other characters. You can kill his allies with your allies, but if he has another ally on the board that he can move to your location, you're just giving him a free Infinity Stone, pretty much. He just takes so long to win. He has such a power struggle. Like, he can gain power easily off of his board, but his cards are just so expensive. Let's talk about some of his heroes, though. Like Gamora. When she's played, defeat a character or location. If that character is an ally of Thanos, place 2+1 strength tokens on Gamora. A stone is found can help out Thanos. You simply just give another villain an Infinity Stone. Nebula. When Nebula is played, the targeted player loses power equal to the number of Infinity Stones they control. Place a number of +1 strength tokens on Nebula equal to that power. This is the Thanos killing card right here. What did it cost? The targeted villain must discard 1 card from their hand for each Infinity Stone they control, up to the total number of cards in their hand. We have Adam Warlock. We got Adam Warlock at Marvel Villainous before we got him in a Marvel movie, which I thought was kind of funny. Simply, Thanos cannot win the game if Adam Warlock's on his board. Sacrifices must be made is his event. Before moving, for each of Thanos' allies in play, he must either pay 1 power, discard 1 card from his hand, or remove the ally. His reward is Thanos removes 1 ally controlled by each other villain. And then there's Drax, which 2 allies have to be used to defeat him. So a lot of Thanos' cards aren't the absolute worst thing. It's mostly his event, Adam Warlock, and definitely the What Did It Cost card that could really hurt Thanos. Let's get over to his useful cards. A small price to pay. No. Death's Favor is really good. Death is literally the literal death, the chick who Thanos has a crush on, who he's trying to impress. You may choose to perform an activate or vanquish action when you move to this location. A location may not hold more than one copy of Death's Favor. So I think you do have 4 of these. You can have one at each location. That card's really good. That's one of the staple Thanos cards. I'm going to get all his allies out. Obviously, Consult the Well. You have 4 of these. And obviously, you need to play it 6 times most of the time. To get that back, you could play a card called Warp Reality, which is search your discard pile for an effect card and put it in your hand. So I'm just trying to get all his allies out here. He has a bunch of Legions of Thanos. Okay, we'll take this card out because that's also important. And what other cards are really good? Yes. Alright. Now let's talk about these cards. Probably the least important card here, but I did want to talk about it, is the Mad Titan. Choose a character you do not control in the same location as one of your allies. Defeat that character. The cost to play the Mad Titan is equal to the strength of the defeated character. You can use that for heroes or allies at locations with Infinity Stones, as long as your allies are over there. Another effect, probably my favorite effect of his, is, well, besides the ones he needs to win, of course, probably the best effect for getting Infinity Stones after they're already out is a Taste of Cosmic Power. Place a +1 strength token on an ally you control. You may immediately vanquish a character at the location with equal or lesser strength and is not discarded after this vanquish action. Space Throne is really good. The location simply gains Relocate, which the Relocate action is an action you're going to be using a lot. You can actually, if you play it here, you could literally move an ally over, grab the vanquish, like move a second ally over, vanquish with one ally. The Infinity Stone gets attached to the second ally you just moved over there. Then use this Relocate action to move it back and get that Infinity Stone. Let's get into allies. His allies. Probably the least useful ally is Black Swan. If Black Swan is at the same location as the Infinity Stone, she gains strength equal to the strongest ally not under your control at her location, which is a pretty much guaranteed vanquish action, but of course she ain't going to stay there, and you'll have to relocate another ally. Corvus Glaive brings some backup with him. When he is relocated to another player's domain, you can relocate 1 Legions of Thanos to that location, which are these 2 strength minions with no ability. You can relocate one of them with Corvus Glaive over because he is the leader of the Black Order. And then our final 3 allies here. Let's talk about Black Dwarf. He has 6 strength, but he cannot be played or relocated to events. He can be used to gain Infinity Stones, though. Proxima Midnight. When she's played, you can defeat a character with a strength of 3 or less at her location, which is good to get rid of heroes and or opposing allies. Sorry, there's a fly on the floor, and I thought it was a spider. I got really scared for a second. Oh, God. But by far, Thanos' best ally, and probably the best card in his deck as a whole, is Ebony Maw. When he is a whopping 4 strength, which is pretty strong, if Ebony Maw is part of a vanquish action by Thanos to defeat an opponent's ally with an attached Infinity Stone, he is not discarded. Simply put, use him to get an Infinity Stone, he stays there. Ebony Maw is by far your best ally. So I really like the fact that Thanos has all of his children in there to help him get the Infinity Stones, and I think the card art on Thanos' cards is marvelous. Just getting yourself some power-ups throughout the entire game is also really fun. Let's talk about each of his Infinity Stones. So probably his best Infinity Stone by far is the Mind Stone. You can find any card in your deck and add it to your hand. That's pretty much it. If you're falling behind and you can't find the cards you need, boom, activate it, get the card. The Soul Stone. The Soul Stone, no, the Soul Stone is the best one. Play an ally for free from your discard pile. You can bring Ebony Maw back. Now, of course, you're not guaranteed to be able to use these Infinity Stones each game because they're all random. So you might gain like one of these two, like your two best Infinity Stones. You might gain one of these. Might be the last Infinity Stone you get, and you'll just win without being able to use it. Reality Stone, you can activate it to perform a Vanquish action. Your allies are not discarded. The Reality Stone is probably one of the first stones you'll want to get in case you can't get Ebony Maw. The Space Stone, you may relocate any number of your allies. Now, you can relocate allies to another player's board as long as there is an Infinity Stone there. Power Stone, place +2 strain tokens on an ally you control. Probably the worst one is the Power Stone. And the Time Stone, gain 1 power and draw 1 villain card. Also not the best, but it's not the worst. So, yeah. A lot going on with Thanos. He just has so many steps, and it takes him a really long time to win, pretty much. I am down here. I probably like playing him more than like the next 3 characters, but it's just he's so time consuming, and it kind of just feels bad playing him and like knowing you're not getting anywhere every turn. You know, you cover up just like 2 of his locations and he can't really do anything. He has a lack of relocate actions. Even if you have space thrown out, sometimes it feels like you just can't relocate enough of your allies in time. Think he definitely could have done with some board upgrades, some upgrades to his actions, but, you know, he's still really fun to play, and I do still really enjoy playing Thanos. Okay, we are sticking with the core set still. The next villain we are talking about on my list is Taskmaster, and I think that this is a great middle-of-the-road villain. So Taskmaster at the time of Marvel Villainous coming out, I don't even think the trailers for the Black Widow movie with Taskmaster in it were out, or maybe they had just came out when this Marvel Villainous set was released. But Taskmaster at the time of this release was the only villain to not be in a movie yet, so a lot of people didn't really get all that excited for Taskmaster, and I was one of them. I mean, I thought he looked cool. I remember when they were advertising Marvel Villainous, they only revealed Thanos, Hela, and Ultron, and then they saved Killmonger and Taskmaster as a secret, and I'm like waiting for the next ones, and it's like I was guessing Loki, and I was guessing Killmonger. I was right. I did assume that Killmonger was going to be in the set, but I did not see Taskmaster coming because I actually didn't know who Taskmaster was. But it turns out he's a character with a super cool ability, totally wasted in the Black Widow movie. We don't associate this Taskmaster with that Taskmaster. But Taskmaster is a villain for hire to train upcoming super villains. So that is literally Taskmaster's goal. You have to have 4 allies, each with a strength of 5 or more, and each at a different location. So we're just going to get out of all Taskmaster's allies, because they are definitely, you know, the focus of Taskmaster. You're trying to get at least 4 of his allies up to 5 strength. Dang, why were all of his allies at the bottom? If I played with a deck shuffled like this, that would have been really unfortunate. Alright, so Taskmaster, of course, would have a bunch of allies. That's 7, 4, 5, 6. He has 7 allies, and then he also has some of these trainees, which aren't the most useful. Let me see if I can get all these trainees out. Is there only 2 of them? No, there's 3. Okay, I'm gonna get his specialties out. Now that I think about it, might as well sort all these out right now. Oh no! Aha, there you are. Let's get all of the various items he can use out. All the best ways for him to gain strength, actually. His what are his most useful cards? Okay. Yeah, I think I got all. Yeah, I think I got all of them. All right. So, first ally we're going to talk about with Taskmaster is Trainees. Instead of discarding an ally used in a Vanquish action at this location, remove Trainees instead. You may not use Trainees' ability if they are involved in the Vanquish action. So they're just a shield for your greater allies. Now we have some allies that'll start with 2 strength and some allies that'll start with 3. Obviously, the allies that start with 3 strength are going to be easier to get up to 5 strength. But we do have 2 allies that actually start with 2 strength, and that is Black Ant and Diamondback. So Black Ant probably has the best ability of any of the allies, because when he is played, you can play another ally from your hand for free. So you get 2 allies for the price of 1. He is a really good card to play if you have another ally in your hand, obviously. And if you get him early game, he's a great way to get started out. For only 1 cost, we have Diamondback. When she is played, place a -1 strength token on any hero at her location. Not that great of an ally. If you had to choose between playing Diamondback and pretty much any other ally, I'd probably play the other ally. But 5 of his allies start with 3 strength already. The first one that we're going to talk about is Crossbones. And he can be played from your discard pile, straight up. He always comes back. Death Shield is another good one. He gains +1 strength for each hero at his location. Jagged Bow is probably the worst one. After relocating or playing Jagged Bow to an event, you may relocate or play a second ally to the same event for free. Anaconda. When she is used in a Vanquish action, place a +1 strength token on each remaining ally you control at her previous location. And then Blood Spider. When Blood Spider is played, you may relocate a hero from any location to Blood Spider's location. So a lot of their abilities don't do much. But you're not there for the abilities, you're there for the strength. You're trying to build them up, get them all to 5 strength. And how do you do that, you ask? Well, a plethora of ways. His whole deck, besides just being allies, is ways to give them strength. I don't know why this trainer for hire card is here. Okay. We got a trainer for hire is a good way to gain power. We're not going to go over it. We got probably his main way of giving ally strength is the training dummy. Place a +1 strength token on an ally you control at this location. Simple enough. You place it to a location with an ally, use an activate action. He got 2 of them, and that an ally at that location gets +1 strength. Conduct exercise. You got a bunch of these in your deck. They're free, and you can use that to perform an activate action. Training Academy gets discarded when an ally is going to be discarded there. If a character is vanquished at this location, place a +1 strength token on each ally at this location, then discard this card instead of discarding any allies cards. So that's a really good way to protect your allies. Shadow Initiative, you can move an ally to another player's board and place a +1 strength token on them, and that will count as a different location at the end. And Redeploy relocates up to 3 of the allies you control. Now, Taskmaster does have some items here, besides a training dummy. He has his 3 main weapons, and that is his sword, his shield, and his bow. So Taskmaster's bow is probably the least useful one. Taskmaster's bow's location simply gains Vanquish. Not that great. Taskmaster's shield is another shield for your allies. When an ally with this location would be defeated or removed, you may remove Taskmaster's shield instead. And Taskmaster's sword, all of the allies gain +1 strength when at the same location as Taskmaster's sword. However, if an ally leaves that location, they will lose that 1 strength from the sword. Alright. We still got the 2 specialties to talk about. So the first one is Lesson Plan. You can simply activate it for 1 power to find an item or affecting your discard pile or deck and put it in your hand. A good way to get some of those items you need early. But probably the coolest specialty that came out of the core box was Photographic Reflexes. After another player plays an effect card from their hand, you may immediately pay 1 power to attach that effect to photographic reflexes. On your turn, you may use an activate action to play the effect attached to photographic reflexes, then discard the effect to its original villain's discard pile. So if like a villain you're going against has a effect to gain a lot of power, or maybe even an effect to give their own allies strength, Taskmaster can, use his photographic reflexes to copy that effect and use it for himself. Just like he does in the comics, where he takes and learns the moves of heroes. Some of his heroes here, we have like Butterball. He can't be defeated, but before moving, you can pay 3 power and discard 1 card to remove Butterball. Scarlet Spider clones. Simply when one of them's played, you find the other 2 and play them, and they're all the exact same card. There's 3 of them. Ant-Man, allies at his location lose 1 strength. That could be really bad. Solo, he gains +2 strength if he is solo. His event, he cannot relocate allies or items except to this event. Find an ally from Taskmaster's deck for free or discard pile and play it immediately for free. Not the worst event in the game, but definitely his worst card, and he has 4 copies of this, is Found by the Avengers. Choose an ally controlled by the targeted villain, then choose any hero in any domain. Remove both characters. You can just get rid of one of Taskmaster's hardworking, trained allies, which could really suck for Taskmaster. But yeah, I think he is the perfect middle-of-the-road villain. I think he could be a great villain for beginners, because, you're just going around giving all your allies strengths. There's different cards that they can use to their advantage to give those allies strength. And I think he's definitely the hidden gem of the core set. I find him fun. I just kind of find him kind of mediocre compared to the next 7 villains. Alright. And this video is actually going for really long because I am talking a lot. So I'm going to get halfway done with this video, and then I'm going to film a part 2 for it. So this will be the last villain I'm talking about. And I was baffled when I found out that this villain was this low on my list. And it just goes to show that, like, I really like playing the majority of these villains. The next villain I have, unfortunately, is Venom. I can't believe he's in the bottom half of this list. He's just barely getting taken out of the top half. But yeah, he is the top of the bottom in this list. So what is Venom's goal? He has to use symbiote tokens to reduce any Spider-Man in your domain to 0 strength. So not only does he have the best villainous mover ever, his villain mover is so cool, but he's also just really fun. So Venom has a whole bunch of these symbiote tokens, and each one has 2 sides. It has a Spider-Man face and a symbiote face. The Spider-Man face gives Spider-Man heroes specifically +1 strength, and the Venom side gives any hero they're on -1 strength. So this acts as a symbiote or a symbiotic relationship with Spider-Man. This acts as a symbiotic relationship with Venom, I think, is what the tokens represent. But yeah, basically, you're trying to completely corrupt a Spider-Man with these, get their strength down to 0, which means that Venom has completely synergized with that Spider-Man hero and taken them over. And when Venom does that, he wins. So let's talk about another very special thing with Venom, and that is that Venom has his own Fate card. This was how they introduced anti-heroes to the game. So that card, when you play Venom, you would shuffle 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, you still have all 11 of your Fate cards here. When you play Venom, you would shuffle all of these in, but you can actually, whichever one of the common Fate decks you're playing, which there's 3 of them, you choose one of them. There's one in each of the full sets, and you can remove a card from whatever common Fate deck you're using and put Venom in there, and now have Venom as an anti-hero going around as well. So that's how they introduced the anti-heroes. And, oh god, there's going to be so much to talk about with Venom. So with the Doc Ock set that came out, there's definitely a lot of Spider-Man heroes. But let's talk about there was only one Spider-Man hero when Venom came out, because he came out first. And let's talk about that. So the Spider-Man you're most likely going to be targeting with Venom is Spider-Man. This Spider-Man card. So when he is played, you place a Spider-Man symbiote token from the pool on him. It is the Spider-Man symbiote token, which means it's the Spider-Man side, which means he's actually going to start the game off on Venom's board with actually +1 strength when you play him. So he's actually going to have 6 strength if he's on when he's played, instead of 5. So what are his other fate cards? Obviously, here's the Venom fate card. Each time an ally is played to any location in any domain, relocate Venom's symbiote to that location. The targeted villain must place a -1 strength token on that ally or discard 1 card from their hand. So Venom's just jumping around a whole bunch. He's going to be jumping around the whole entire game until somebody gets rid of him. Other cards we have Anne Wayne. I have no clue who this is. When Anne Wayne is defeated, Venom loses all power. If a villain other than Venom defeats Anne Wayne, they gain 2 power. So she's defeated in general, Venom loses all power. If it wasn't Venom, though, the person who defeated her gains 1 power, or 2 power. His event is Maximum Carnage, really hoping to get Carnage in a Villainous set one day. He would be so cool. He simply cannot play symbiote tokens. When Maximum Carnage is played, add +1 strength to this event for every character with a symbiote token on them. So it only starts off with 5 strength, but it can definitely gain strength easily. The reward, though, for each ally used to resolve this event, place a symbiote token from the pool on any ally in your domain. That's another thing Venom has. He has... I think what drags him down for me is a whole bunch of his cards place symbiote tokens on his allies. But I think doing that just kind of takes away from the focus of Spider-Man. You don't really need to place a bunch of symbiote tokens on your allies. Like, sure, it can help, but I think just focusing on playing the cards that put symbiote tokens directly on Spider-Man from the pool is better. So I think that's kind of a wasted mechanic, but it could do some fun stuff. Another unique card, we have a hero/effect card, which is the symbiote suit. If they are played to Venom's domain, they're an effect that flips 1 Venom symbiote token on any Spider-Man hero or any Venom token to a Spider-Man side, giving them +1 strength in the process. If Symbiote Suit is played to a domain other than Venom's, they're just a hero with no ability. We got Mary Jane Parker, MJ. When Mary Jane Parker is played, relocate a hero from this domain to this location. Then relocate all Spider-Man heroes from all domains to this location. So if you play them on somebody else, that could take Spider-Man away. Sonic Blaster. When Sonic Blaster is played, attach it to a hero. Allies at this location cannot be relocated and their abilities are not active. Black Cat. When Black Cat is played, the targeted villain loses 1 power and discards 1 random card from their hand. So a lot of these heroes don't have anything to do with symbiote tokens, though. Except the symbiote suit. Silver Sable, she simply has Protector. Another symbiote suit. Scarlet Spider is really bad. When Scarlet Spider is played, place up to 4 Venom symbiote tokens from any Spider-Man hero and play on Scarlet Spider. And he does not have Spider-Man in his name, he simply just has Spider. You cannot use him to win against Venom. Now let's talk about all of his cards. I'm not going to talk about any of his cards that place symbiote tokens on allies. I'm just going to talk about his cards that place symbiote tokens on... or have to do with finding Spider-Man. And obviously I'll get his specialties out. I'll be hang just a second. Okay, so Venom has a plethora of ways to put Venom tokens on Spider-Man himself and also a whole bunch of other heroes. Scorpion, when Scorpion is played, you place a symbiote token from the pool on him, which symbiote tokens from the pool on your allies will count as -1 strength tokens. But when you use that ally to vanquish a hero, they lose 1. Gain that strength, but they don't get discarded. Scorpion can be used to defeat a character at their location or an adjacent location, obviously making use of the tail. Merging, to pay the same number, pay X amount of power with an activate action, place that same number of symbiote tokens from the pool on allies you control. So yeah, I kind of forgot about that till I was just thinking about it while my video was paused, my recording was paused, about how like the symbiote tokens, if an ally has one, they're not discarded. Agony, when she vanquishes a character, it could be any character, an ally, another hero, you place a symbiote token from the pool on any Spider-Man hero in play. Rhino, when Rhino vanquishes a character, he is not discarded, you just relocate him to another location, so he's just wasting your entire board. Slander, you gain 1 power for each Spider-Man hero in play. You may remove 1 Venom symbiote token from any character to gain 2 power. Really good way to get money. Of course, Venom only has gain 2s on his board, and one of them can be covered up, so Venom does actually have a really big power struggle. And he has internal, speaking of struggle, he has internal struggle. Choose a character with a symbiote token on them, move that symbiote token to any other character at that location. His 2 main ways to get Peter Parker out on the board is Let's Visit Peter and It's Me Eddie. With It's Me Eddie, you can relocate a hero from any domain to any location in your domain, and Let's Visit Peter straight up finds a Spider-Man for you. A good way to get symbiote tokens out to all heroes is You Are Not Innocent, which is simply place a symbiote token from the pool on each hero in play, anywhere, on any board. Gonna Eat Your Brains is definitely the best one, which simply places 2 symbiote tokens from the pool on a hero at your location. You have a play card action at the bottom of every location, so you'll always be able to use this on Spider-Man no matter where he's at. Another good ally for Venom is Lasher. When he vanquishes a character, place a symbiote token from Lasher himself on any hero. Protecting Innocence just lets you draw cards equal to the number of heroes with symbiote tokens on them. But then you have to discard down to 4 cards. But it's a good way to cycle through your deck. And the final card here is The Last Thing You'll See. To activate for 2 power to remove a hero from any domain. Could use that on Venom himself. But yeah, why Venom's so low is I think his rules are kind of written weird. He's kind of hard to learn. He did come by himself, and a lot of his cards I think just don't do what I want them to do. I mean, I get the whole use of placing symbiote tokens on your allies, but I think it's much more important for the focus to be mainly on Spider-Man himself. And I knew if it was like that, Venom would just win way too quickly. He can still win quickly, but sometimes it just gets, you know, a little boring having the same old boring play symbiote tokens on allies you're never going to use cards in your hand. But I still think he's really fun to play. But yep, that's going to conclude part 1. I'll be back with part 2, and it's probably just going to be just as long. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.